Shows a few people with me. Good morning to you all. I'm trying to finish up my smoothie. I'm not a breakfast eater. My husband get on me all the time about eating breakfast, so I decided on smoothies. So if I'm going to make it, I need to at least finish it, right? Okay, that's done. Good morning to you all. I still have issues with Facebook. I don't know if anybody else who does Facebook. Hey, Titania. And Nikki. It says Nikki. Good morning. I still have issues with Facebook. I'm not sure if anybody else that does Facebook Live have issues as far as it doesn't tell me who's joined, because it's showing several people, but I see 2 people who's joined and 1 person that says good morning. Good morning to you, Titanium. But good morning to you all. I don't want to leave anybody out. Hey, I need to get with you like ASAP. I know that I think you said you live all the way on Marietta, but I need to start couponing like ASAP. So I need to get with you, ma'am. I just thought about that a couple weeks ago. Good morning, Pastor Deborah. I need to... Groceries are so expensive and my family just eats so much. Yes, I'm going to be inboxing you. I actually tried to go to like a farmer's market yesterday, and there was only like a few things that was more inexpensive than like the regular grocery store, at least to me. The produce, of course, was about the same amount. Some of the stuff was more inexpensive, and then the meat was definitely more inexpensive. I said I was going to try to start going there. I don't know how to pronounce it. I believe it's Asian or it's a Chinese farmer's market, but it's in Lilburn. I went there yesterday to price some stuff. So I don't know where a meat market is. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a meat market since I've lived in Atlanta. And when we lived in North Carolina, I was able to go and I was able to rack up, and it was great. But my kids have grown and they're eating more, so I need to find any way to cut corners when it comes to the grocery bill every month. So I went to the farmer's market, and good morning, Uncle Willie. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, the meat was definitely more inexpensive. Some of the produce, but then I found that they didn't okay, so everything you can't buy store brand, right? Like, ketchup and stuff, you can't buy that store brand, but some stuff you can buy store brand. But I found that the farmer's market I went to, they had no store brand stuff, so the stuff was like regular price, but to me it was even more expensive. Like when you go to Walmart and you get Great Value brand, some of their stuff, there was no store brand. So they had like regular, like say for example, I was looking for a spaghetti sauce and they had like the Ragu and the Hunts and all of that, Prego. But it was more expensive than how much it is at the regular grocery store. And I don't know why that is. As far as something with wholesale, I don't know, not to get into that. But so if anybody has any idea where to go, produce and meat is like the biggest thing for my family. That's the most expensive, produce and meat. We are fruit and vegetable lovers. Well, me more on the veggies, but everyone loves fruit. It usually goes in on one day and out the same day. You want to get in on couponing? Yes. See, you need to hold like a class or something. We're gonna connect. We're gonna connect, and we're gonna see how we can like do a couponing class or something. But that's for Nikki. But if you know any other ways to cut corners, like I've tried Sam's Club and stuff like that. I had a business membership with them. I stopped going. I don't know why, really. Maybe I need to start back going there. It's not really purchasing a lot of things in bulk for me besides my produce and meat, because my family... Oh, you are having one soon? Okay, well, If you are not a part of She Networks, I need you to be a part of She Networks so that when you have that information, you can go ahead and share it as a part of the network. Actually, I need you even to be there. If you can come to the networking event on September 10th that we're having. It is in Duluth. I don't know how far that is from you, but if you can come there and give information, if you're not having the class prior to then. But we'll chat because I know that it's probably a lot of people, women, moms, wives, or whatever category you fall in, that can use help when it comes to couponing. And I never really been that great at couponing, only because I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm pretty cheap when I go out to certain stores. You were traveling for, thank you, I appreciate that. But some stuff, just depending on what it is, I buy a lot of store brand stuff, and the coupons is not for store brand. So that's why I haven't couponed a lot. But I found over the years, now I started like that 10 years ago when I first started, because when I was a wife, and like, oh, I'm just going to buy the store brands. But I found over the years, number one, you find that stuff, it doesn't have the same, you know, flavors and stuff like that. So you do have to buy some stuff, just brand name, you just do. And the other thing I found is the store brand is starting to be almost the same amount as the regular brand name stuff. So yeah, I can't do that anymore. And I'm telling you, our grocery bill is high because my family likes to eat. If my husband joins me, he likes to eat. Our oldest daughter, which will be turning 13 this year, she likes to eat. So, and I mean, we're providing so many meals a day. They have to take snack to school. They have lunch. They eat breakfast at home. And then they need something when they come home from school, which we started this thing, which I'll talk about when we start talking about things that we can do to balance day-to-day life with children. We have this thing we call slunch. And I always try to make up creative things with them. So slunch is it's like a lunch after school, but it's not quite a portion size of a lunch, but it's bigger than a snack. So we call it slunch. I wanted it to be snunch, but then they didn't like that. They thought slunch was better. So whatever. That's just what goes on in the Craddock household. So they have slunch every day after school. So they have that. And then there's dinner. And most times they want seconds and thirds depending on what I cook. And then I try not to cook every day. I have my meal preparation days, like my cooking days. And then I have my leftover days. So that's another thing that I'll get into when I talk about balancing day-to-day life and just finding strategies and things that works for you. So just not to go into that in detail, but I need a lot of food in my house, basically. So yes, couponing will be great. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk to you offline in regards to that class. That's going to be great. So I've talked enough. I've given it enough time for those of you who are going to join me. If you are joining me now, thank you so much for coming on with me for another Topic Tuesday. If you are on currently, or if you're watching the replay, if you can go ahead and share the video afterwards, that way it not only helps you, but it helps those who you are connected to as well. I really appreciate that. Most times on Facebook, I don't have any new viewers with me, but just to go through it, I am Tramika, Craddock, planner, consultant, coach. I do event planning, event consulting, as well as business and relationship life coach. So that's who I am. Those are the businesses that I have. Hey, Michelle. Oh, my God, I miss you. Me and my husband was talking about our new members class because we've been at the church now since we pretty much moved to Atlanta, and we were talking about our new memberships class, and I remember the prophecy that you told to me. I don't remember it in detail, but you talked about how God was pleased with where I was because I was concerned about my prayer life and just being connected to God, and I wanted more. And you told me that God was pleased, and another thing that you told me was that God was going to begin to bring friends into my life. And I can honestly say that as of this day, I have more friends at one time than I have ever had in my whole entire life. And I really appreciate the authentic friendships and relationships that I've gained since I've been in Atlanta. It has since I've been here. So I just really appreciate you allowing God to use you, Michelle. And I just wanted to throw that out there because I just talked about that with my husband, and we do really miss you. We had a great time in our new memberships class. Okay, so enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Again, thank you so much for joining me for Topic Tuesday. Here, we're going to say 9 o'clock hour every Tuesday. I actually did do Periscope prior to coming on. Unfortunately, the last couple weeks and months, I have not been able to do both at the same time. I do have faithful people who come onto Periscope each week. So I would like to get a streamline where I can kind of get people on the same platform so I'm not having to go through everything twice. Because I have those faithful people, because I originally started on Periscope, because I have those people, I don't want for them to miss out. But then on Facebook, I usually have more live viewers. So I don't know. I need to try to figure that out. But I did do Periscope prior. I actually started a little early with Periscope and I went on at 8:50. But of course, I talked and I talked and I talked. So then it made me come on late on Facebook because I was having some issue with connecting. But I'm here. And I have 3 points that I want to go over, or tips that I want to go over today with you. Now, what we're talking about, like I said, I started on Periscope months ago. And the time that I started, we were in a season when people were planning for weddings, bridal showers, baby showers, things of that nature. So I came from an aspect of my event planning company, Prestigious Events by Tramika, Craddock, and I gave out event planning tips and things of that nature. But then I transitioned and I went into doing coaching, coming from my coaching business, and I was doing business coaching as far as what I was doing with coaching is helping women to transition off of their 9-to-5 job onto either part-time or full-time entrepreneurship. So that's what I did, and I was coming from that aspect. Now what I would like to start, and we'll just see how long it lasts, whether it be weeks or months, appealing to the wife mom preneur. Now, you may be asking me what that is, if you need help with. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but we're definitely going to talk. But the wife mompreneur, so when I was looking out on the internet, all I kept seeing was mompreneur. Mompreneur, but I'm saying, okay, well, I'm more than just a mom and an entrepreneur. I'm a wife, and that's a big part of who I am. So I wanted to have a collaboration of all 3. So I came up with this wife mompreneur. So what it is a multitasking woman who's able to, you didn't mean to write that, that's okay. It's a multitasking woman who's able to balance being a loving wife, time-consuming tasks of motherhood, as well as running her own business as an entrepreneur. Now, you may not, over the next course of the weeks and months, you may not fall into all 3 categories, but it doesn't matter if you're a wife and an entrepreneur, or a wife and an aspiring entrepreneur, or a wife who's just okay with her 9-to-5 job, or you may be a wife and a mom, or a mom and an entrepreneur. Whatever category you fall in, I am going to be giving basic organization tips for day-to-day life to be able to balance it, that you probably will more than likely be able to apply to your life. Now, what I will say is, and I said this at the end of the video on Periscope, the information that I'm giving will be basic, it will be broad, but every family is different. Every relationship, every marriage, with your spouse is different. Every household is different. So there may need to be some things that we may need to streamline for your particular situation, your relationship, your marriage, your household. So that's where I come in as your success strategist outside of the Facebook Live videos. You're more than welcome to contact me on any social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, my website, tramikacraddock.com, my business number, you can text, you can call, so that we can sit down together and actually come up with strategies that's going to help specifically for your particular scenario or what you have going on. So the reason why I went this route to jumping into the wife mompreneur, because number one, that's who I am. One thing I talked about last week is when I went to all my social media platforms and I had to give a brief introduction or description of myself, the first thing I always seen when I went back and looked at everything, and I didn't notice when I was writing it, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and a business owner. So, I mean, it just fits me perfectly, and I want to be able to help those in those same areas of life. Now, the reason why I went this way is because even though I'm a business and relationship coach and event planning, and people call me all the times for those things, the biggest question I always get is, how do you do it? I even sat across from somebody last week, at a meeting I had at Panera Bread. That's my remote office. They don't know, but that's my remote office. So when I'm not working from home, Panera Bread is my remote office. That's where I meet clients at and have meetings. Or if I just want to change of scenery, I go to Panera Bread. I love them. Their food is great, but they are expensive. Somebody need to talk to them and tell them about the price. Come down just a little bit. But anyways, I was just at Panera Bread last week and someone asked the same question. How do you do it and then you make it look so effortless? And it's not easy. Let me just say that first. It's not easy. And I get that question all the time. So I want to be able to help people with the strategies and tips that I use for my own life because it's practical, right? Because it's real. You are able to see this in my day-to-day life. The answer that I always usually give is, I just do it. I always just say, I don't think about it. I just do it. Because if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? Now, let me say that my husband is not, even though my husband goes out and work, and I always say that I'm a stay-at-home mom first, and I have the businesses, my husband is very much involved in our lives as far as me being his wife, and as far as his children. He doesn't just go to work and then come home, go to a man cave, watch sports, ask for something to drink and food. He's very, very involved. So I don't say it in a sense to say, well, he's not going to do it, so I have to. Not at all. But there are just some responsibilities that fall on me that I can't expect anyone else outside of our home to come on and do. Hey, Randy. So that's what I mean when I say that. And my husband is, he's awesome and amazing in the fact that he is very involved after he comes from working a job all day. He's very much so involved in my business life as well. He's one of my business mentors, as well as he gives me a lot of practical coaching tips and things, especially when it comes to marketing. I keep telling him he needs to be a marketing coach. When y'all see him or it's on Facebook or anything, tell him you need to be a marketing coach. He is so great when it comes to marketing. And then the fact that he works for a branding company just solidifies it. Like, he needs to be a marketing coach. But I say all that to say no one else is going to do it. So my answer has always been, I just do it. I don't think about it. It has to get done, so I just do it. One thing I do want to point out, I actually heard this yesterday. Erica Campbell, she hosts a gospel show here, a radio show. So we was riding to school. Every morning I take my kids to school, and she had the same thing. She talked about the same thing. She said that people who are connected to her, they see her, you know, she has the reality TV show. She's hosting this radio station or radio show now. She's in 2 singing groups, she said, and she has her solo career. She's a mom and she's a wife. And a lot of people who are connected to her always ask her, how do you do it? And her response to them was the Holy Spirit came to her and let her know that it's not by her own strength. She said that the Holy Spirit came to her and said, Erica, is not by your own strength, but by my strength that I help you through these things. And that was so good to me because I had to realize and I had to put glory where glory is due. That is not by my own strength. It is God who's helping me, who's encouraging me, who's giving me the strength to be able to do the things that because I do a lot. Like, if I was to show y'all my schedule, because I'm a wife, mom, me and my husband have ministry, you know, balancing home. I have 2 businesses, so that's 2 different aspects. They don't line up with each other at all. So 2 completely different aspects, 2 different calendars for meeting people and doing events. We have 3 kids, 7th grader, 4th grader, 1st grader. I'm a mentor to a lot of women and young women. I mean, I volunteer. I mean, it's just crazy, like, the amount of tasks that I have, but I love it because everything that I'm doing, I'm passionate about. So I love it, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world, but I have to stay organized in my day-to-day life so that I'm able to balance it all effectively. And one thing that I talked about on Periscope, and as I go into this information as well, over the next course of weeks and months, don't think that you have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I talked about I burn bread all the time. Ask my husband and my oldest daughter. They always talk about, don't let mommy cook the bread, because sometimes I can get busy doing something else and I forget that the bread is even in the oven. Just the other day I cooked something and I burnt the cheese on top, but I fixed it before they came home, so they didn't even know. So I'm not perfect, and I just say that don't think that people who see me and I appreciate, they said that they admire the things that I do and how I balance life so well. You won't do it just like me. I won't do it just like you. There are going to be some areas where you're going to be better in. There's going to be some areas that I might be better in. So that's why we have to connect together to be able to help each other. So that's the reason for these posts. But just know that you are, for the videos, I'm sorry, you will not be perfect at what you do. Just try your best and just work your hardest. And again, different strategies and different tips are going to work for different households. So let me go ahead and go back into it. We're talking about how to balance day-to-day life. 3 points, and then I'm done, y'all. Actually, I had one question that somebody submitted that I said that I was going to give an answer to. So number 1 is you must be organized. Start by organizing your home and organizing the main spaces that you are in day to day. So I'm looking at my notes because I write down everything. So what I mean by that is you may want to organize the rooms that you're in every day, mostly for the day. Your room, your bathroom, your living room, your kitchen. Specifically in your kitchen, you may want to organize your cabinets, in your refrigerator, and then I didn't write this down, but I want to add to that your vehicle, your car, and your workspace, whether that you have a desk at work, in a corporate office, wherever you work at, or even if you work at home. If you organize your day-to-day spaces where you're able to freely just, say for example, you're cooking and you have this certain pot you want to use. Well, if your pots are organized, you can just reach in, get your pot out, do what you need to do rather than wrestling around, getting down. You know, my pots are underneath, so getting down there, figuring out where the pot's at, finding the lid, and then that takes up time, and then I might get frustrated. So finding some type of organization in your day-to-day spaces that you're in all the time. Now, realize that it's going to take time. You may not be able to do this all in one day. It may take weeks. But over the next course of days and weeks, try to organize at least, I'm not talking about the garage, the basement, the attic, the spaces that you're in day to day. If things are organized, it's going to be easier for you to get in and effectively move throughout these spaces if they're organized. So that's my first thing. And one of the things that I talked about on Periscope is I cannot function if there's clutter. And another thing that you would need to do is you need to communicate with your family what clutter means for you, and how you cannot function if there is clutter, and what they will need to do to help with the clutter. Like my husband and my kids know at a certain point, it's like, okay, wife ain't gonna be able to take this, mommy not gonna be able to take this, let me get this cleaned up, or let me just figure this out before she get home, or whatever the case may be. So for me, I can't function if there's clutter. So decluttering things is the best way to start with the organizing, because clutter brings about confusion when nothing is in order. So that's the first thing, number 1. Number 2 is plan ahead for your week, and if you're even skilled enough to do it, plan ahead for your day. Now I realize everybody may not be able to go down to the day. That's what I do. I create a priority list for the day, but everyone may not be able to create a priority list for the day, but start by the week. You may not even be able to create a full layout plan for the week, but if you just look ahead at your week to see what's coming up. For example, if you are an entrepreneur and you're a mom and you're a wife, you may see that, oh, well, this is our Thursday night is our date night, but I also have a parent-teacher conference, and then I got a dentist appointment that I got to get the kids to. So Thursday may not be a good day to be a cook day. That might need to be a leftover day. And again, that's some of the other strategies that I'll talk about later on. So you may need to cook enough on Wednesday so that it lasts on Thursday, so that you can flow efficiently through that day. So plan ahead for the week. And take baby steps. Like I said, you might not be able to just pull out, create a full layout of a plan. But if you just glance at your week, just to see what's coming, so that you know, okay, well, I might need to move a client from Thursday to Tuesday, or I might need to change that dentist appointment and see, like last week, I had to change the dentist appointment because I had an event I had to do, and see if they had anything at a different time, just so that my days can flow efficiently. Because what happens is we get stressed out, we get overwhelmed, and oftentimes we may quit at something, or it just rolls over on the people in our family, like our spouses or our kids, or it may roll over to the next day, and it starts to affect your business. So to plan ahead or look ahead for the week, so that you can efficiently plan it out, so that it flows efficiently, that's going to help you in the long run. Trust me, it's going to help you. So looking at your calendar to see what you have coming up for the week, just so that it's in your mind, at least if you're not writing things down. One of the things that I threw out there that I'm going to start doing, I do actually every week, is Sunday prep. So Sunday prep may be different for you than it is for me. For Sunday prep for me, I create a calendar for my whole entire family household, a household calendar where we know who's doing what at what times, if they have any type of appointments. My husband's in school, if he has a class, you know, he just was in training. If he has a training class, we know what time Bible study starts. That helps your family know, okay, at this time, I need to be in place to do this thing. So my kids, if they see that we have to be to Bible study at 6:30, 7 o'clock, well, I know that, because another creative thing we do, and I'll talk about, we do school check. That's getting prepared for the next day. They get prepared for school. So if I know that we have to be at a place at 6:30, Mom is probably going to tell me we need to be up and leaving by 6 o'clock, depending on where we're going. So that means my school check needs to be done by 6 o'clock. So things of that nature, just bring your family in. That's another bonus tip. Just bring your family in. But by creating the household calendar, that helps everyone to be on the same accord, to know what's going on. And then you can glance at the calendar as well, to know what you have going on if you don't have time to go back and look at the list, or you forgot, you know, as far as writing it down on I have a lot of writing tablets, like notebooks everywhere. And I wish I had my to-do list notebook. I would show y'all, but I don't see it on my desk anywhere. But even writing down on the calendar, I told my kids just the other day, for whatever reason, they got this thing where they're being picky about what they're going to eat and stuff. So I write down, I have my cook days and my leftover days, and I have my quick meal days. So I write down what they're going to eat, and they'll look on the calendar and say, oh, I don't want that. Well, then that might be a night you need to fast, because I'm not making anything different. So you look at that calendar and you decide what night you're going to have some communion with Jesus, because this is what I'm making on this day. I'm not making no separate meals for anybody else. So it just helps. And I'm saying that jokingly. I did tell them that, but I'm saying that jokingly because it helps when I create a calendar for the household, so that we'll know what we're doing. That helps me because they're helping me. And then I honestly, I look at all my client schedules, meetings I have for the week. These are some of the things I do on Sundays. Sunday prep for you, may just be looking ahead and not actually writing anything down or creating a calendar. Again, take baby steps. The last thing that I want to talk about, point number 3, is begin to write things down. There's nothing to look at to, look ahead at your week if you don't have it written down anywhere. So some strategies or tips with that is you can do as I do. If you're somebody who has to write in pen and paper, that's me. I much rather write things out than type it, but there are some people who like to type. So whether you have some type of tablet, iPad, if you have a laptop, pen and paper, start to jot things down. You may not jot down everything, but start somewhere, so that way you're looking ahead at the week to see what you have forthcoming. iPhones, I'm starting to try to use my calendar a lot more on my iPhone, because my phone has this function and I'm not using it, so I need to take advantage of that. Even talking to Siri. Last week when I went to the dentist with my daughter, right there at the counter, she says, you need a reminder card? Nope. I talked to Siri, told him to put the appointment in my calendar, and I was done in a matter of seconds. So just whatever strategy works for you, writing it out, typing it out, or using Siri or your iPhone, start to jot down things that you have coming up for the week. So those 3 things: you must be organized, plan ahead for the week, or at least look ahead, and begin to write things down so that you can prepare for your week. One last thing, and then I'm going to go because I've been on here for quite a while, so I hope that this is helping someone. I did ask for anybody, if you have any questions, to submit them. Please keep the questions coming. I may answer them next Topic Tuesday. If it's something good or something you need immediately, I may put it out general, just as a post for everyone to see. But I did get a question. I'm only going to go over one from the questions that I did get. And the question was, how can we as wives find time to work and still make time for ourselves without taking time away from our spouses? And my answer to that person was in 3 parts: time, planning, and sacrifice. You have to find the time for yourself and then not take time away from your spouse. So that's where timing comes in. But it may require sacrifice. You may have to give up watching your favorite TV show exactly when it come on, record it, watch it later. You may have to give up sometimes sleep. It just depends. You may have to give up something in order to be able to balance it, because guess what? Everybody knows there's only 24 hours in a day, and there's so many hats that we wear as women. We have to find a way to be able to balance it all out. So that's where the strategies and the tips that I would like to provide will come in. So my answer to her, and just to go a little bit further, I do know that oftentimes we can have jobs that we find stress from work, and you need me time afterwards. So there's two different aspects to that. You can be the woman and you need your me time afterwards. So what you need to do, and this was the answer I gave back to her, you need to sit down with your spouse. You need to have open communication, and you all need to negotiate what is fair. What is, you may go to them and say, well, I need 30 to 45 minutes after work because I work a stressful job, or I had a stressful day. I don't want to take it out on you. So I just need to come down, take a breather before we start to do things together for the day. And your spouse should be able to appreciate the fact that this is your need in most situations. So just being open and honest, and communicating about your needs. So saying, hey, I need 30 to 45 minutes a day. And y'all may hear my godson in the background talking. I'm actually helping him, helping out a family member, my cousin. We're watching him. And he decided that he wanted to be a part of the Facebook Live video today. So he's Googling gagging while he's watching Mickey Mouse while I'm doing the live video. The other aspect of that is wives, or, women, we have to be careful when our spouses need me time. And I wanted to bring that out as well. For example, my husband gets off at 4 o'clock. I don't have any type of social setting where I'm able to talk like I used to when I used to go on to a corporate office. Most times the people I'm talking to is on a professional level because it's meetings with clients and things of that nature. So as soon at 4:01, I'm ready to talk to him, calling him like, hey, this is my day. This happened. Guess what happened here? Guess what this client said? This happened at the school. Your kids did this morning. And we have to be mindful to be able to give them time so that they can come down for their day as well. Say my Google and Gaga turned into a cry. Sorry, everyone. His Google and Gaga turned into a cry. You can't even see him. Say hi to the people, Aiden J. Say hi. God, mommy had to come rescue me. Okay. You gonna let me finish? Okay. So we may need to let him come down. So for example, what I was saying, his ride home, I may need to give him that time to be able to just have a breather. He may need extra time when he get home. He may need an additional half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour. So we have to just be mindful, spouses, whether you're a husband or a wife, of the downtime that our spouses may need after they come from a stressful day at work, or just work, period. When you're working from home, I know for wives, if you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're working from home, you're an entrepreneur at home, that can be hard for you because, like I said, I don't really have a social outlet besides talking to my clients, but it's always on a professional basis. So it's never like letting my hair down type of talk. So I hope that that answered the question for that particular person. And I hope that I was able to help you all today with everything that I talked about, which is you must be organized, planning ahead for the week, and beginning to write things down. Again, if you want to communicate with me directly about something specific, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. My website is tramika.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any particular social media platform. You're probably going to be able to find me. So thank you so much again for joining me for Topic Tuesday. I am Tramika Craddock, Success Strategist. Anything that you have going on, let me help, and have a productive rest of the week.